विचारणैकनिपुना धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर विचारणैकनिपुना तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर श्री चैतन्य कृपा बरौ लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर
Prabhu, you can start. Or I should continue playing music. Prema Prabhu.
Then we shall. Hare Krishna.
Caitanya Prema Prabhu. Caitanya Prema Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I should continue playing music or? Yeah?
Just play for 1 more minute or let me start.
Okay.
I'm trying to arrange my phone.
Okay.
Or should I use the computer?
Depending on you, Prabhu.
विचारणैकनिपुना तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर राधा कृष्ण राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्दौ भजनामृतौ राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्दौ भजना नंदेन मत्तालिका वन्दे रूप सनातनं रघुजुगौ श्री।
Okay. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. Hare Krishna. Thank you. I can start chanting Jaya Radha Madhava now. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jai Girivaradari, Jaya Yasodanandana, Jai Braja Janaranjana, Jai Yasodanandana, Jai Braja Janaranjana, Jaya Braja Janaranjana, Jai Yamuna Tira Manachari, Jai Kunja Bihari, Jai Yamuna Tira Manachari, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Sila Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Sila Prabhupada, Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Haribo, go, Haribo, Nita go, Haribo, 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 go, Haribo, Haribo, Guru Vrinda ki jai. Guru Bhakti. So we welcome everyone to today's class. We always emphasize that we start on time so that we can also end on time. But I also have a policy that time lost at the beginning is equal to time gained at the end. That is my formula. So if you start late, we are going to add the time in the front. So there is no loss. We know how to manage it. So that is it. Welcome. First of all, let us have a recap of what we did yesterday. First of all, yesterday we did Sri Upanishad Mantra 3. And there we talk about how living in harmony with this, the Savasya principle will benefit us. Yeah, in Mantra 3, we talk about how living in disharmony with the Savasya principle will harm us. You see? So there, it is like a warning that if we live in a soul-killing way, without awareness of our spiritual nature, without taking care of our spiritual responsibilities, we attract negative reaction, we attract suffering to ourselves while in this life, and we also go down to lower spaces of life after death. So in this way, it's like a parent telling a child that if you do not study hard and fail, you will be humiliated, demoted, and you will live in ignominy and poverty. So, and no one will respect you. So we talked about that. And we went further to elaborate on the differences between suras and asuras, I mean demons and devotees. And we gave a lot of examples, and that basically demoniac life does not mean, demon does not mean a physical form with horns, but it's more or less mentality as it is contained in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 16, second half of chapter 16. So we talked about that. Then we moved ahead to talk about the killer of the soul. That the soul can actually not be killed, but when one lives in deviation from the quota allotted to the soul, spiritual responsibility, then one is actually killing the soul. If we live in a way of sense gratification, if we make sense gratification the goal of our life, then we're actually killing the soul. And we talked about many other things. And we explained about the differences between the three ways of understanding or giving meaning to a particular word or situation. That there is literary meaning to every word or every situation. There is a literary meaning, there is ethical meaning, and there is figurative meaning. The figurative meaning is acceptable, or metaphorical analysis is acceptable, provided it is consistent with the literary meaning. Literary meaning means the thing actually happened, like this, the word Kushetra, it happened. And if the metaphorical meaning is consistent with the literary meaning, then it is acceptable. So we talked about all that. Then we moved ahead to talk about how we should utilize the human form of life properly for its purpose. That if we do not utilize the human body, which is a higher machine, for higher purposes, and rather utilizes it for lower propensity, pursuing lower propensities, we attract suffering to ourselves. And that is exactly why the human beings are suffering even more than the animals, because the animals follow instinctively according to nature's dictations. But the human beings, they tend to deviate and use their higher machine for pursuing lower propensities. And that accounts for human beings having all kinds of complications, more than the animals. The animals, for instance, we said they don't have stress management, they don't commit suicide, and they have no hospital even. See? But the human beings are suffering from all kinds of things. The human beings are suffering from starvation. The animals do not. The animals take the animals do not take a sleeping tablet. No animal take a sleeping tablet to sleep, but human beings take sleeping tablets. Animals do not suffer heartbreak or heart attacks, but humans do. Animals do not commit suicide, but the humans also do. So we say this is a misuse, it's a result of the misuse of the human form of life for pursuing lower propensity, and that is causing suffering. We did not conclude because of time factor, but we are still going to just summarize some of the basic things that were left out. That the basic responsibility of a human being is to inquire about spiritual life, its real identity. Therefore, if humans do not live like humans, then they become killer of the soul. And in the purpose, La Prabhupada explained that the killer of the soul, whoever it may be, or in the translation, direct translation of the Sri Upanishad, that the killer of the soul, whoever it may be, will enter into the darkest region of ignorance. You see? And that means we endanger our lives. Then there is an example of a farmer. There was a farmer who had a classmate. And this classmate, is a city businessman. And suddenly the classmate businessman became very, very rich. But the farmer remained poor in the village, farming and working very hard without getting any good result to account for his hard work. Then the friend suddenly visited him and he gave him a Mercedes Benz. The friend gave him a Mercedes Benz and left. The farmer, all what he knows is about plowing, weeding, planting. So he decided to use the Mercedes Benz for plowing his farm. So he plowed and plowed. And suddenly the Mercedes Benz got destroyed. The farm itself got destroyed. And the man became frustrated. Why? Because the Mercedes Benz is not meant for plowing. It's tractor that is meant for plowing. But he misused the Mercedes Benz for plowing. And the result was completely frustrating. It destroyed the machine, the Benz, it destroyed the farm, and he got frustrated. So what we are saying is that if the human machine, the human body is like a Mercedes Benz, when we use it for lower propensity, pursuing, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, we are misusing it. So the result is that we spoil the human form of life. We spoil the field. The field is the environment, because every living creature contributes to the ecology. It contributes to the ecology. And the way the human beings are supposed to contribute to the ecology is not the way they are doing. The human being's quota, and therefore his contribution, is to educate, to elevate, and to liberate. To educate, to elevate, and to liberate. But is absorbed in pursuing, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So this is analogous to the farmer using the Mercedes Benz to plow. And eventually it spoiled the ecology. Yes, we pollute, we offset the natural setting, we deplete the ozone layer, we pollute the environment by our, misdirected human activities. And therefore we cause suffering for ourselves, and we also cause suffering for others. So this is what is going on. So what we are saying is that we are creating this imbalance and we are suffering it. We can see it in many ways as it is manifested. So we went further again. Also to yesterday, talked about how the spiritual life is so valuable. Devotional service is so powerful and potent that even if somebody just starts for a short time and somehow or the other is unable to complete, still is going to attract a lot of benefits. And we quoted the verse of Neha Bikramana Sastri, that in this endeavor there is no loss or diminution, that any little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. And that the most dangerous type of fear is to lose human form of life. And we gave the example of how, imagine that you are called for an examination, and in the exam, you couldn't pass. And the condition is that even if you fail in this exam, those who fail in these exams, then they will be given a room in a 5-star hotel with like $800,000 as pocket money, and he will live freely there with free food, first-class food for 3 years or more. That is for those who fail. So if those who fail can get us bounty, how much more for those who pass? So those who pass, actually, they are given eternal life in the spiritual world. For life, eternally, they will be there enjoying with God. But those who fail, they are promoted to heavenly planets, and they live there for thousands of years, heavenly years. After they come back and take birth among the most evolved human beings and get the opportunity to continue. So, is it not fantastic? Huh? What an exam. We ask, who is that intelligent man who will not partake in such exam? And nobody raised hands. That means everybody agreed to participate. Nobody raised hands. So the overall conclusion was that it's in the last paragraph of the verse that we should live in harmony with the Sabbatia principle. As Leprapa wrote in the purpose, that the torturing platform, we cannot, the human life is not made for solving economic problems on the torturing platform. Torturing platform, because this material world is temporary. Everything you acquire now, you will lose it tomorrow. So it is a temporary platform. Okay, therefore we should not waste our valuable life, trying to solve economic problems on the temporary tabernacle materialization. So trying to solve economic problem on the torturing platform is actually a lost cause. That problem caused by one activity cannot be solved by the same activities. Therefore, we have caused problem by material activities. We cannot solve the problem with material activities. We must engage in spiritual activities. And that is when the problems of my life can be solved. So that brings us to today. Today we are dealing with mantra 4. And today actually is the second session, beginning of the second session of Sri Upanishad. The second session is, the first session is that we should live in harmony with the Iswara. That is invocation to mantra 3. Mantra 4 to 8 constitutes the second session. And in the first half of the second session is the mantra 4 and mantra 5. So this first session is dealing with the same principle that we should live in harmony with the Iswara. And that if we live in harmony with the Iswara, there are a lot of benefits. That the consequences of living in disharmony is horrendous. But how do we know the Iswara? Before we can obey the Iswara, we must know him, know what he likes, what he doesn't like. How do we know the Iswara? And you say that this 4 to 8 say Iswara can be known by developing spiritual vision. Iswara can be known by developing spiritual vision. Yes, that the Iswara is inconceivable to our normal intelligence. The Iswara will be described in terms. In this particular verse, it will be described in terms that seem contradictory. But all contradictory points or all different polarities are actually harmonized in the spiritual understanding. That brings us to this the policy of or principle of Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, that which harmonizes two polarities. polarities of Dvaita and Advaita is Achintya Beda Beda Tattva. Simultaneous oneness and different. And this will come into play a lot in clarifying the points for today. So having said this, we would like to read the verse. Mantra 4. Anejad ekam manaso javio naina deva apnovam puvam asat tadavato anya atyetiti stat tasmin apo matariswa dadati. The personality of Godhead, although fixed in his abode, is more swift than the mind and can overcome all others running. The powerful demigods cannot approach him. Although in one place, he has control over those who supply the air and rain. He surpasses all in excellence. So this is it. The features of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are described in apparently contradictory terms. But these apparent contradictions will be harmonized through the principle of Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, simultaneous oneness and difference. So our format today is that, first of all, we are going to read the whole purport from the beginning to the end. We are going to read the whole purport from the beginning to the end. And after reading the whole purport, then we now divide the students into groups. Then they go and discuss and come and present. Then as they present, I'm going to add additional spices to each of the chapters. So that is how we're going to go. Having said that, let us start. I will read the first paragraph. The Supreme Lord, who is the absolute personality of Godhead, is not knowable even to the greatest philosopher through mental speculation. It can be known only by the devotees through his mercy. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the non-devotee philosopher who can travel at the speed of the mind or at the velocity of the air, and who can travel in space for hundreds of years, we find the absolute still far, far away from him. As described in the Upanishads, the absolute personality of Godhead has his transcendental abode known as Krishna Loka, where he remains engaged in his pastimes. But by his inconceivable potency, he can simultaneously reach every part of the creative energy. In the Vishnu Purana, this potency is compared with the light and heat of the fire. The fire can distribute its light and heat from one place. And similarly, the absolute personality of Godhead, although fixed up in his transcendental abode, can diffuse its different energies everywhere. So, Stephen Govinda, you can read the second paragraph.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So, the second paragraph of the Sri Upanishad.
No, second paragraph of the purport. If we have been following, this will not be a mantra 4, second paragraph. Continue the reading.
Although
Okay. So, although his energies innumerable.
Prabhu, source energies. Second paragraph.
Second paragraph. Although his energies are innumerable, they can be divided into 3 principal categories: the internal potency, the marginal potency, and the external potency. There are hundreds and millions of subheadings to each of these categories. The dominating demigods who are empowered, in control, and administer such natural phenomena as air, light, and rain are all classified within the marginal potency of this absolute person. Lesser living beings, including humans, also belongs to the Lord's marginal potency. The material world in the creation of the Lord's external potency, the spiritual sky, where the kingdom of God is situated, is the manifestation of his internal potency.
Okay, thank you very much. Before you go on, please let us cooperate with it. There are different editions of Sri Upanishad, and the purports are not exactly written in the same way. So if somebody is reading and what is written is a little bit different from what you have in your own book, please try to understand. Okay, like the one I'm using is different from the one you read from.
Yes.
So please, Krishna Bhamini, you can continue the reading from paragraph 3.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The different energies of the Supreme Lord are represented everywhere by his different potencies. Although there is no difference between him and his energy, still one should not wrongly conclude that the Supreme Lord, being thus distributed everywhere, has his personal existence solely in the impersonal Brahma. Men are accustomed to reach conclusions only according to their own capacity to understand. But the Supreme Lord is not subject to our limited capacity to understand him. The Supreme Lord is not subject to our own limited capacity to understand him. It is for this reason that the Upanishads warn us. No one can approach the Lord by his own limited potency.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That is great. Tita, no, not Tita. Damodara Prabhu. You can continue with the 4th paragraph.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Continue with the 4th paragraph, please.
Okay, Prabhu. In the Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, text 2, the Lord says that not even the greatest rishi or suras can know him. And what to speak of the asuras, for whom there is no question of understanding the way of the Lord. The 4th mantra of Sri Upanishad very clearly suggests that the absolute truth is ultimately the absolute person. Otherwise, there would have been no need to mention so many details in such of his personal features. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Jamastami Devi. Paragraph 5. Lila Sukha Prabhu. Continue. Paragraph 5.
Individual parts and parcels of the potencies of the Lord, although having all the symptoms of the Lord himself, have limited spheres of activities, and therefore are all limited. The parts and parcels are never equal to the whole. Therefore, the parts and parcels cannot appreciate the full potency of the Lord. Foolish and ignorant living beings who are parts and parcels of the Lord, under the influence of the material energy, try to make a conjecture on the transcendental position of the Lord. Sri Upanishad warns them not to make any mental speculation about the identity of the Lord. Try to know the transcendence from the superior source of the Vedas. which is already in knowledge of the transcendence.
Baula Swapriti Prabhu, please continue from paragraph 6. Okay, if Baula Swapriti Prabhu is not there, then it can be overthrown. It can be overthrown by Gopi Priya Prabhu. If Gopi Priya Prabhu is not there,
every part of the complete whole is endowed with some particular energy to act, and forgetfulness by that part of his particular activities is called Maya, illusion. Sri Upanishad has therefore, from the very beginning, warned us that we should be careful to play the part designated for us by the Lord. This, however, does not mean that the individual soul has no initiative of his own. Because he is the part and parcel of the Lord, he must have the initiative of the Lord as well. Proper use of one's initiative, active nature, with intelligence to understand that everything is but the potency of the Lord, can lead one to the revival of his original consciousness, which was lost on account of association with Maya, the external energy.
okay. Thank you very much. Now, last paragraph to be taken by Bhakti Osas.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
All power is obtained from the Lord, and therefore each particular power must be utilized to execute the will of the Lord, and not otherwise. The Lord can be known by one who adopted a submissive attitude. Perfect knowledge means to know the Lord in all his futures, to know about his potencies and how such potencies are working by his will. These things are exclusively described by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the essence of all the Upanishads.
Yes. The Bhagavad Gita is also called Gita Upanishad. Gita Upanishad. So all the essence of the Upanishad is in the Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much for the reading. As I said, with the format is we are going to read the translation fully. Then we now divide the classroom. We divide the students into classrooms. And each group we attend to each of the paragraphs. And here we have 7 paragraphs. And how many groups do we have now? We are supposed to have 6 groups. Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadev, and Bhismadev. So, do we continue with the old groups, Kavikanapura Prabhu? Do you have them? You have the list? Can you break them into the groups and put them there?
No, once we finish the whole program on that day, the list will be dissolved.
Okay, but I think we should try to keep them permanent, if possible.
The only way to do that is that we have to manually write their name according to their groups. So each day we are dividing it, we just put each other as individual inside that group.
Okay. So but we can't do that now. We should do that one outside of the class. So,
but also they can know themselves. They can know themselves. So in that way, we can easily put them into that group.
I think they know the groups they belong. let them go into their groups now. Right now. So what we are going to be doing in the groups is that, first of all, paragraph 1 is for Yudhishthira. Paragraph 2 is for Bhima. Paragraph 3 and 4 is for Arjuna. Paragraph 5 is for Nakula. Paragraph 6 is for Sahadev. And paragraph 7 is for Bhishmadev. So
all the Yudhishthira should indicate yourself by raising using the hand emoji. Raise your hand. If you're in Yudhishthira, write Uta. Okay. Baula Sapriti. Who again is in Yudhishthira? Be fast. You know your group. Nobody again in Yudhishthira?
Isaac was there. Isaac.
Are you sure about
Yeah.
on any group?
You sure?
I'm not on any group.
Okay. So we'll give you a group. Prema. It's like there's so many phones inside that one room. So the thing is clashing. So let's put everyone in. Let's put everyone inside the group. Yudhishthira. Okay. We are still getting a Yudhishthira group above. We don't have many people in Yudhishthira group. It's still 3 per group, Abi.
It's okay. If it's 3, it's okay. You go to the next group.
Prabhu.
Yes.
Please, I'm also not in any group, please.
Okay, we will assign you.
That means it's Bhishma automatically.
Bhima group. Okay. So those Yudhishthira, you can bring out your now we have the Bhima group. Raise up your hand.
Okay, so what you're going to do in the group, please extract the points. You already know. Extract the points, then you come out to present.
Samuel, Revati, Damodara. Okay, Gopi Priya. So we have 5 in Bhima group. Bhima is plenty.
What are Bhishmadev?
Now you have to decide now whether you want to send some of the Bhima people to Bhishmadev.
Yes, please do.
So Prabhu, see those people that their hand is up. You decide who will go to Bhishmadev.
Oh no, any of them you can just pick them because I'm using my phone. I don't know how to get them just like that.
Okay. So you want me to send some to, who should I send to? Damodara, Gopi Priya. Okay. And
Lila Sukha.
Okay, it's all right. I already done that. So let's go for Arjuna group now.
Okay.
What happened now? Okay. For those who are, please, you can bring down your hand and then let's go for Arjuna group. Those who are in Arjuna group, now you can raise up your hand. Arjuna group. Stephen Govinda, yes. Balas Lila, yes. Any other person in Arjuna group? Arjuna group, raise up your hand. So we have to add 1 person in Arjuna group. Prabhu Prema, we have to add 1 more person, okay?
Okay, now add no. You just create the group.
Who has not gotten any group, will raise up your hand also so that we can put in the Arjuna group. If you don't have group. Who don't have group yet?
Okay. So go to your groups. Yudhishthira, paragraph 1. Paragraph.
When I came last week, they put me in Nakula group, but this week I was put in Arjuna group, so I don't know which one to go to.
Now you still remain in the Nakula group. It's like you like in Nakula, like you well. So let's put in Nakula. Any other person? Now you can bring out your down Nakula group. If you're in Nakula group yesterday, raise up your hand now. So now you have to know your group so that every day it's easier to just put in that group. Okay? Nakula group, Tita. Okay. Krishna, Bamini. And okay.
I think you put Krishna, Bamini, and Favor, Bhakti, Favor together. They are in the same place and using the same phone.
We have put Favor in Yudhishthira group. We can exchange it later, Sha.
But as they are using the same phone, can they be in different groups?
No, if they are using the same phone, it's easier for them, if they are using the same phone, it's easier for them to stay in one place.
I think so, but we never have our own phone. Our phone is bad, so we can be in the same group. You can be in a different group. Her name is Lucy.
Okay. So now, Pablo, I'm going to put the remaining people in one group. Okay.
Bismadev.
We already got 2 people in Bismadev. Okay. Okay. In the Yudhishthira group, we have only 2 people there.
Now they do the allocation, so let there be allocative efficiency.
No, we have 3, except in Yudhishthira group, we have only 2.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay. So now you tell them how many minutes they are going to do so that we can start.
10 minutes for collecting your points. Okay, 12 minutes for collecting your points, 12. Then 5 minutes for presentation.
I will send them now. Can you go?
Yes.
Which paragraph is for Bhishma?
Bhishma is paragraph 7. Bhishma is paragraph 7. Sahadev is paragraph 6. Nakula is paragraph 5. Arjuna is paragraph 3 and 4. Bhima is paragraph 2. And Yudhishthira is paragraph 1. Hare Krishna. Good luck.
So, bye-bye. Go into your room. Click the button on your screen and go into your groups.
Sababuma is connecting, so you can add him to one group.
Okay. Isaac, go and join. Ganesh, go and join your group. No, you are supposed to be in.
Yes, network failed, so the thing disconnect.
So go to your Arjuna group. You are in Arjuna group.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Babu.
Yeah, Favor.
Hare Krishna, Babu.
Go to your group.
Hare Hare Krishna, Babu.
Hare Krishna.
Baba, I think the names in each group should be called so that we will be. I know I'm in my group. I'm forgetting my group. So please, if you can go over the name of the in the
You
groups.
were mentioning the names. Baulaswa.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. So go to the group you are sent to.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, I did not get the link to the group.
Who is speaking?
Favor.
Let me see.
Okay. Thank you.
Ganesh, are you still there? Go to your group. Your group is waiting for you.
Robert Nar. This is Robert Nar.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
So please go to the group. Click the button that come on your screen and go to the group.
Baba,
I need the link to my group also, a trainer group.
Who is speaking?
Ganesh. Ganesh is still dislocated.
Anytime we send him there, we will not go there. So the link will disappear. Baulaswa.
No.
We have Saraswati here. Saraswati is supposed to be in Sahadev group.
Locator. Allow me to go to the groups also.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. The thing is, I just started today, so I'm kind of like confused and lost. I'm just only observing.
The JJC. Oh, yeah, send that to group fast.
Right, what happens, Saraswati? You can go to Sahadev group, okay?
You cannot observe JJC. You go to your group. See, Ganesh is still dislocated though. Why?
Ganesh is supposed to be the goddess of obstacle, but it's like he's keeping himself here.
Unable to move.
I wish I did not see the link to my group.
Okay, let me send it to you now. That is Saraswati, okay? Saraswati joined Bhishmadev. Yes,
I think we should add 30 minutes in the front.
Okay.
Yeah, so that instead of 2 hours, let's add 30 minutes because the group exercises are very important, and it is what makes it back Sastri, you know.
No, but the thing is that the Bhakti Baba will want to start immediately, and they are using the same platform.
They were using a different platform. Now we have our own platform now. So
No,
Ganesh,
you see the same Hare Krishna, this thing we are using.
Okay. So if they are starting, it will affect us.
And they will sign us out.
Hey. That means they are mutually exclusive.
You cannot, because it's one platform you are using. So anytime they want to start the other one.
Okay.
Ganesh, let me send you to a group.
Allow me to go to open for me to go to any group now. as you did yesterday.
You are a co-host, so you can go to any group. As a co-host, you're supposed to, you will see the button for you to join the group there.
Yes, yes. But there is Quadro here also. Kojo.
Quado is Quado.
Bhakti Kojo.
Let me see. Let me send him to another one.
Send him to a group.
Okay.
And Ganesh is still there.
The guy refuses to move.
Ganesh is supposed to remove obstacles. He's trapped.
Like his network is not stable. I've sent them, but they have to click. Bhakti Kujo, go to the group you are sent to.
Click that group and you enter there. Click on the group and you will find yourself there. Clicking is opening the door. Open the door and enter the room.
Ganesh has gone.
He has gone to the group, but he has become disconnected.
I think his network is stopping.
Punamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Hiranmayena Patrina Satyasya Pihitam Mukham Tattvam Pushana Pavinu Satyadharmaya Dristaye Vayuranilam Amritam Atedam Vashmatam Sharidam Om Krito Smara Kritam Smara Krito Smara Kritam Smara Agnenaya Supatare Asman Vishmani Deva Vayanani Vidmanyo Yashman Jupuranamino Puhish
Vandeham Sri Guru Vandeham
Oh, so you are not playing the beautiful bhajan again?
Are you not joining for the activities? We send you to groups, you were not joining them. Hello, are you there? Hare Krishna Babuji, are you hearing me?
avashishyate. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnam Bunjitaha Magritaha Kashva Siddhanam. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Anejate Kamana Shojavyo Naina Deva Apnuvan Purvamashat Tadhavatonyani Taditishtat Tashmina Pomat.
That was me. I'm cleaning. I mean, I'm cleaning. I'm coming. Now,
Tadnaijati Tadure Tadvantike Tarantarasya Sarvasya Tadu Sarvasya Bhayata Sapaya Jakshikarmakaya Navinam Ashnaviram Sudam Papavidam Kavimanisi Paripu Swayambu Yatayatatoritan Yadatar Echasatibya Samavyaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Hiranmayena Patrina Satyasya Pihitam Mukham Tattvam Pushanapavinu Satyadharmaya Dristaye Vayuranilam Amritam Atedam Vashmatam Shahidam Om Krito Smara Kritam Smara Krito Smara Kritam Smara Agnenaya Supatare Asman Vishmani Deva Vayanani Vidmanyo Yashman Jupurvanamino Puhistam Tena Makutim Videna Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva
You have to send this button for me. You have to forward it to me personally. Time off. Relocate everyone back to the main classroom by giving automatic time for them to disconnect them.
Ishyavashyamitam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena chakena buddhitava magritaha kashva siddhanam om purnamadaha
They're all here. They are all back. Yes.
Okay, very good. You are welcome back, please, to the main classroom. Hope you enjoyed yourself. First of all, we request that Kavi Prabhu to please share this powerful mantra. Let everyone in the group enjoy it for the rest of the classes. I know you are selfless enough to do that. Then, not now. After the class, send the whole thing to us so that the whole group members can have access to it, adopt it, colonize it, and be using it even privately. So now, Yudhishthira group kindly present. We are going to present in the sequential order. Yudhishthira present paragraph 1.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please. Yudhishthira Prabhu, present.
Yes. This is Mr. Bright Uta, representing judiciary group. We are taking paragraph 1. In paragraph 1, here it said, the Supreme Lord, who is absolute personality of Godhead, is knowable even in the greatest philosophers. Means that our Supreme Lord cannot be known by a carnal being. Hare Krishna.
Can we see your face, please?
Okay, okay.
On your video.
Yes, sir. Let me get there fast.
Your time
Said
is
he
going.
cannot. Please, I'm coming. Oh, there is something that happened to my phone here, so I'm trying to correct the error.
Please, some of your teammates will quickly come in and utilize the time before your time expires.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
This is Bata Robert. Let me continue. Why
Okay,
is
okay, Samuel is back. Samuel is back. Let me continue.
Okay.
Please, can Robert carry on? My phone is giving me issue here.
Okay.
Okay. Then carry on.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. What this chapter or this verse is saying that people with high knowledge cannot know the ways of the Supreme Lord, except by His mercies, that one can know the ways of the Supreme Lord. So it means that if one is not a devotee, he cannot know the ways of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So please, other group members, if there's anything you need to complement.
Yes, he also said that even he said in the Brahma Simahita, he said that even the philosopher that travel in the speed of the mind, that travel in the velocity of the air, that travel in the space of the 100 of years, cannot also find the Lord, because he traveled in Cana. He used his own selfishness to travel, to search for his kingdom, which is not supposed to be like that. If you want to know him, if you want to know the ways of the Lord, you have to be a pure devotee. That is when you know the ways of the Lord. You cannot be a Canaan man and understand the things of the Lord. You can only understand the things of the Lord when you are a devotee, when you are a pure devotee. You can only understand his energy spread when you are a pure devotee. You cannot understand the things of the Lord when you are not pure. You also use an example of fire, that fire generates light and heat. That is how the Lord look like. He distributes his energy everywhere he goes to. He distributes his personality everywhere he needs to do. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The part is that the inconceivable Lord Krishna can only be known through devotional service. That is, one first of all have to accept a bona fide render service and inquire from him. In this manner, the self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto the disciple. This is the only way the true Krishna can be known, not any other speculative method, as it is described in the Gita chapter 4, verse 34. So this test makes us understand that the Supreme Lord can only be known by rendering service with pure devotee. That is the only way that we can pass through to know the Lord, not in any speculative method of understanding him. And another thing is that even though Lord Krishna always resides in his abode, known as Krishna Loka, he simultaneously resides in all his creative energy. In the Vishnu Purana, an illustration is given that the inconceivable energy of the Lord is compared as fire. And we all know for a fact that the fire can bring forth heat and light without losing any part of its energy. And that is the typical nature of the Lord. And also, like the sun is in the sky, providing heat and light to the whole universe, material universe, that still remains complete whole since time immemorial. That goes to show that the Lord is dependable and not like we, the human being, with the women being who get tired with small activities. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You have all presented very nicely, complimentarily. Yes, absolute truth cannot be understood by speculation. It can be understood by revelation. And what is the understanding? The absolute truth, God, is non-different and at the same time different from his energies. Okay? How can we understand this simultaneous oneness and difference? Then the answer comes. As we are limited, we cannot understand the unlimited through logical inferences. We can understand the unlimited only through revelation. We have to act as his devotees, then when he becomes pleased with us, then he reveals himself. Okay? So what do we have to do? We have to play our parts. Yes, in order to be given that understanding. We must harmonize with the absolute truth in devotional service. We have to play our parts in devotional service. Yes. The absolute truth cannot be understood by speculation. Why? Because speculation is always uncertain. You see? It's always uncertain. So please, we say that because speculation is uncertain, one extreme is we can never know the absolute truth at all. That is one extreme. The other extreme is that the other isms, other religious systems like Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and all the rest, the Abrahamic religions. These religions, they have no positive description about the personal aspect of God. They have no positive description about the personal aspect of God. Therefore, it's very, very difficult for them to actually understand him. Yes, because they have no knowledge about the positive activities, his form, his abode, his daily activities. They have no knowledge of it. So on that extreme, they cannot also understand him. You see? So, and since God is infinite, is omnipotent, and therefore only him can do anything at all, including giving the ability for the infinitesimal souls like you and me to understand him. God can give that ability. You see? So if it is actually omnipotent, that he can do anything, he only can still give that ability for us to understand him. Therefore, we should become devotees of the Lord. And by rendering devotional services, we can gradually understand him. He will reveal himself to us gradually. Okay? By gradual revelation through increasing devotional dedication. Yes. And we say when the sun is rising in the morning, it does so gradually. When you wake up, you see the sun gradually rising. But your realization that the sun has risen is sudden. So the sun reveals itself. You don't force the sun to come out. It reveals itself. First, you see the light, effulgence gradually coming as it becomes brighter, and suddenly you see that the sun is out. So this is the process of understanding the Lord. The Lord reveals himself when he's pleased with our activities. Very nice. So thank you very much. Second paragraph.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Haribo, you are here and I didn't know that you are here.
So Prabhu, this energy and their Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So Prabhu, the second paragraph is actually talking about Krishna's energy, and they are innumerable, meaning that there are millions and hundreds and thousands of them. Them into different classes. The classes are divided into theory: the internal, the marginal, and the external potencies. Whereby the marginal, the external potencies are this material world we are, and the marginal potencies are we, Indra in charge of the king of heaven, Varuna in charge of water, Agni in charge of fire, and all. Vine in charge of air. So while the internal energy is the spiritual sky where Krishna resides. So I want to just do a little bit illustration. I don't know if everybody can see me.
I
just want to do a little bit of illustration. So Prabhu, Prabhu, can you see it?
Yes, we can see
it.
We are seeing.
So, Prabhu, yeah. Let me bring my Bible. So, Prabhu, yeah. Bro. So, Prabhu, yeah. Yeah is the spiritual sky where Krishna resides. Yeah is this material world, which is the external energy. And we are the marginal energy in the center. So now we all have our choices. We all have our choices. Now in this material world today, people don't even want to know. People are atheists. They don't want to even know about God. So they still remain here, and they'll fall down to this material energy. So definitely we being in the material world, meaning we all now present are part of the external energy. So for us to walk away from this part of the external energy to the internal energy, we need to understand this spiritual knowledge being passed down from Krishna to us. So that's what all this material world is all about. The material world is telling us that we need to know and understand Krishna and the supreme personality of Godhead. So this is just my brief illustration. The internal energy, we are the marginal energy, and the external energy, which is the material world. So I would like to call on my group members so they can come and recite one verse.
I am the source of all my spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly known this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Good.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. That's one of my group members. So in reference that, we are making reference to Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, text 8, which actually talks about Krishna have different energy according to what I've explained now. Krishna have different energy, and those who are intelligent, because from our previous classes we have discussed about intelligent and ordinary class of men. So those who are intelligent should actually know how to walk away from this material world, which is knowing Krishna, the supreme personality of God, and understanding him. And definitely we are even on the part of the Sri Upanishad that speaks about the understanding of Krishna, which is from 4 to 8. So this paragraph 2 talks about one, just gave one main point, which is Krishna have 3 energies. Then definitely break down those, have millions of energy, definitely break down those energy into 3 parts, which is the internal, marginal, and external. And also in reference to mantra 1 paragraph 3, where Krishna talks about his energies, there are millions and thousands of them, then break down them into different parts also. Krishna Prabhu, this is our presentation. Thank you, my group members.
Haribo, thank you very
much. I was thinking you are not there.
I'm there.
The room, I couldn't find anybody, so I was complaining I'm alone. Thank God you are there, but quick one. Let me just say a little word. The reason we in this material world is to worship the Supreme Personality and go back home. Now, in the spiritual world, there is so many things to enjoy. There is no heat, there is no cold. So that is our destination. Prema, Sri Brahma Samhita 5:6 give us brief descriptions of the spiritual world and how one has to be before you go to the spiritual world. So I just want to read briefly, and I'll be very fast. So let devotees also know. Say, I worship a transcendental seed known as Satadweep, where the loving console, the Lakshmi, and their unalloyed spiritual essence practice amorous service to the Supreme Lord Krishna as their only lover, where every tree is a transcendental purpose tree, where the soil is a purple gem, all water is nectar, every word is a song, every day is a dance. The flute is the favorite attendance and the fulgence of the full transcendental bliss, and the supreme spiritual entities are all enjoyable and tasty, where numberless men, cows always emit transcendental ocean of milk, where there is internal existence of the transcendental time, who is ever present and without past or future, and hence is not subject to a quality of passing away even for a space of half a moment. That dream on the line is known as Goloka, only to a very few self-realized souls in this world. So we, as Vaishnavas, we are very fortunate. So we should do spiritual things. We should perform devotional service to the Supreme Lord. That is the only gate pass, the visa you have to go to Goloka Vrindavan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Which group is that?
Bima.
Bima, okay. Very good. All glories. Thank you very much. Your group has dealt with the matter, trashed the matter very seriously. And that is expected of you because you are Ojasrisha. And your members are also very dynamic. So your group is very dynamic. And here I want to contribute also that this contribution will help everyone also in some ways. That Krishna consciousness attracts through living demonstration. Krishna consciousness is not only philosophical, it attracts through living demonstrations. And this particular part, and the book as a whole, Sri Upanishad, is provoking our thinking. It's awakening our creative thinking, our thinking, forward-looking thinking. You know, it's energizing the mind, stimulating the intelligence, so that it can be awakened to see beyond the immediate. That beyond this immediate we are seeing is the one we are not seeing, and that is spiritual. And it is from the spiritual that everything is coming. You see? So devotees living exemplarily first is what attracts people when they are coming. And there we see Krishna consciousness in synthesis. Synthesis. Devotees being kind, caring, you know, and that enables us to appreciate the analysis. So first, they see the results, then they make the analysis. So there are two ways of thinking: analytical thinking and synthetic thinking, analysis and synthesis. But in real life, when things are working, be it working of a machine, working of a language, or the working of relationship, it is the synthesis that make things work. Synthesis make things work. Then later, we begin to ask questions on how to understand why these things are working. So how does the computer components work? The computer components, when the computer is breaking into its components, it is analysis. Okay? You have the mouse, you have the keyboard, you have the screen. They are separate components, but when they are put together and when they start working as a system, it is synthesis. It is the synthesis when things are working together as systems and are bringing powerful results. Then we can pick the components and begin to analyze them separately. So these are the two ways of thinking. First, seeing the computer in its components forms, then putting them together and making them function. So functional demonstration. Krishna consciousness attracts through functional demonstration. So it is synthesis that makes things work, while analysis enables us to understand why and how these things work. And this particular aspect of the social balance is provoking this way of thinking analytically, thinking synthetically. So Srila Prabhupada made the analysis of the Supreme Lord and his energies. You know, they work together as a single unit. Okay? Just as fire and burning, they are simultaneously one and different. When you say fire, the Lord and his energies are simultaneously one and different too, inconceivably. So when you say fire, you cannot separate burning from fire, because fire has no meaning without burning, the burning capability. But you know, you can see that without burning, also there is no question of fire. So they are simultaneously one, but they're actually different. Fire must be there in order to burn, you know. So the absolute truth also is a combination of both the spiritual and the material energies in a perfect, complete unit. The material energy and spiritual energies are simultaneously one and different. they are both, they attain equilibrium in the absolute truth as the source of both the material and the spiritual energy. And that is the verse that was quoted. Aham sarvasya prabhava mata sarvam prabhatate iti matva bhajant buddha bhava samam vitaha. Okay, so is fire and burning different? Yes, but because there is no question of burning without fire, fire and burning are also one and the same. Similarly, the Lord and his energies are simultaneously one and different. Okay? So, as we are limited, we can only know the Lord by revelation. We cannot understand the Lord by our own speculative efforts, but through revelation. So, this is what we are going to discuss next. Thank you very much for your powerful presentation. And we're going to call on the next group, Arjuna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so this is the Arjuna group, and we have to present the third and fourth chapter of the mantra form. So in this very paragraph, describes the potencies of the Lord, how he is able to create all these material world, the spiritual world, and still remains aloof. This chapter also describes how we should identify the Supreme Lord and also differentiate. I'm coming. Okay.
You're allowed, no problem. Continue.
Okay. So although this chapter also describes how the Supreme Lord is
You're allowed to read. You're allowed to read. Even the president they read from the book.
Okay. So he said, although the Lord and energies are non-different, one does not mistake energy for
Unmute yourself, Stephen Govina. Sorry, I was trying to mute that person who was disturbing us.
Okay.
You are allowed to read. Even the president of a country reads from a book.
Okay. So he said, although the Lord and his energies are non-different, one should not mistake these energies for the supreme truth. So this chapter describes that even though the Lord is the origin of all these creations, both spiritual and material, and he still stay aloof, he's still independent, and we should not mistake the creation as the Lord himself. And also, it's also described how inconceivable the Lord is. Even the greatest sages and the demigods cannot conceive him. They cannot understand him. So he can only be understood through his mercies, how we have to render submissive service to the Supreme Lord for us to gain the understanding, even though it's almost impossible to understand the Lord, but with his mercies, we can come to a very good margin. Greatest demigods such as Lord Brahma once fell into illusion and was being restricted from entering his own abode. And the king of heaven, Lord Indra, also fell into this illusion. And some of us know the consequence, how the Lord had to lived the Government Hill for a long time to kill the ego of Lord Indra. So with our intelligence, with our personality, there is no way we can understand the God, the Lord, except through submissive service attitude. That's when we are able to gain his mercy, to able to understand him to some extent.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So that is good. Yeah.
Please, you can check your WhatsApp message and send a message there.
Yes, I've seen it. Thank you very much. I'm conscious of that. Carry on. Any other complimentary presentation? Something to support what he has said? That is very good. Great, great. Great presentation from Arjuna Group, who treated paragraphs 3 and 4. Now, let's go to paragraph 5. Nakula.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Is that Nakula?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Carry
okay.
On.
So, I'll go to Srila Gurudev. We are presenting paragraph 5, and according to line, what Prabhupada said in the first line, he said, individuals part and parcel of the potencies of the Lord, although having all the symptoms of the Lord himself, have limited spheres of activities, and therefore are all limited. So what Prabhupada is trying to say here is that we have the same quality as the Lord. This we also find in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the preface, first paragraph, line 12, when Srila Prabhupada listed the qualities of Bhagavan. He said for anyone to claim to be Bhagavan, first, he must have words, he must have fame, he must have beauty, he must have wisdom, and at the same time, pronunciation. And the Prabhupada said the person must have this incomplete, and apart from that, he must have it unlimitedly. So I will say this place is trying to tell us that we can never be the same with God. Although we have the same qualities, we can never be equal with God. And to further prove it, in the Sri Isopanishad, in the introduction, the first paragraph, line 7, Prabhupada quoted the 4 defeats of the human being. He said, first of all, we are born to commit mistake, we are illusioned, our senses are imperfect, and we have the tweaking propensity. So someone with this fourth defect cannot claim to be God. So moving to the second point, Prabhupada started by saying, foolish and ignorant living beings who are part and parcel of the Lord under the influence of the material energy try to make a conjunction on the transcendental position of the Lord. Sri Isopanishad warns them not to make any mental speculation about the identity of the Lord. Try to know the transcendence from the superior source of the Vedas, which is already in the knowledge of the transcendence. So this we can see happening all over the world. People are arguing who is God, what is God like. Some say he has form, some say he doesn't have form. So, but Prabhupada is teaching us here how to know, how to get the real knowledge, how to get the true information. And in this connection, Sri Krishna quote from the Bhagavad Gita in the 4th chapter titled Transcendental Knowledge, text 34. He said, Tad vidi paripatinam pariprashanam sevayam upat dakshati janam daninash tatwam dakshinam. Which simply means just try to learn the truth by approaching the bona fide spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. So he's trying to tell us if we want to learn about the absolute truth, we should learn from authorities. And according to Sri Isopanishad, the introduction part in the 4th paragraph, line 13, to explain.
Conclude.
Abu, let this pandit speak. Let this pandit speak.
That's very nice. Prabhu, we've gotten it. The message is very clear. And if we give you the time, you can speak to it tomorrow. So, thank you very much.
It's a potential Brahmin. It's a potential Brahmana. So, Prabhu, keep your eyes on him. Yeah.
We get the point. We get the point. You and Ojas Visham, we are taking notice of you. Okay, very nice, very beautiful. This shows that you're understanding what you are doing. Understand? The purpose is fulfilled. Okay, so be a part and not apart. What does it mean? We have to be part of Krishna's plan. Do not try to live separately from Krishna. Otherwise, we are trust suffering. Mama Evam so Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manaha Sastanindriyani Prakriti Stanikas. We are eternal fragmented parts and parcels of Krishna. So a part is beautiful when it's connected to the whole. Just like the hand is beautiful when it's connected to the whole body. But a cut off hand is useless because it cannot perform any of the functions of the hand. So be a part means our material talents come from God and are best used to glorify God. We all have individual talents.
Prabhu, you are muted. You are muted, Prabhu. You mute yourself.
I'm sorry about that. So we have to engage our individual potentialities in glorifying God, in serving God. Give the example of a
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please, I think you are muted again.
Prabhu try to help Balalila Prabhu to come in. His data got exhausted, he went out, he's trying to come in and he's finding it difficult. So try to help Balalila Prabhu to come in. Try to help Balalila Prabhu to come in. Okay, Hare Krishna. Having said that, let us continue. Our abilities are God-given. But the question is, are we using these abilities to going towards him, or we are using them to going away from him? And that is the free will we have. We all have free wills to either use our abilities to glorify God or to use our abilities to glorify something else. So Bhakti or devotional service does not deny the fact that we all have our abilities, but Bhakti demands that we should use our abilities to take us to Krishna. See, so Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that we all have initiatives. Therefore, we should serve him by those initiatives and talents. And this is the whole purport of this Sri Upanishad. We are all individuals, we have individual abilities. You should employ those our individuality to serve the Lord. Then we attain the blessing of the Lord. So that is it. Thank you very much for your presentation, Prabhu. We are going to paragraph 6. Paragraph 6. Sahadev. Is Sahadev group there with us? Everywhere is quiet. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, Prabhu.
Where is Sahadev group, please? Oh, they lost their identity? Or they have merged? Someone has presented Sahadev as his son or what? Where is Sahadev? Anyway.
Sahadev, show yourself.
I will continue. Yes. In paragraph 6, Srila Prabhupada writes, Sri Upanishads has therefore from the beginning warned that we should be careful to play the part designated for us by the Lord. And this is where we talk about the quota system. As human beings, there are expectations. We are expected as human beings to contribute to the world spiritually, not materially. And what is that spiritual contribution? To educate. First of all, we educate ourselves, then we educate others. In this way, we elevate ourselves and we elevate others. And in this way, we liberate ourselves and liberate others. Our quota as human beings is to educate, to elevate, and to liberate. But what are we doing? Because of misdirected understanding, we are pursuing worldly things. When we have abilities, we think that this ability is my own ability. So let me use it to pursue sense gratification. So we are pursuing sense gratification with our abilities. We are trying to go away from the Lord with the abilities given by the Lord. So this is misapplication of our individual independence or individual free will. So Sri Upanishad is warning us and is calling us that we have to be careful to play our part. We will play our part by remaining connected to the service of the Lord, glorifying the Lord with all abilities we have. Then the Lord will reciprocate. Krishna consciousness attracts, yes, and it will help you to gradually rise up to the level of pure devotional service, because once you are engaging your individual talents in devotional service and not killing it, Krishna will find that talent and it will come up and you will become an exemplary instrument in the plan of God. Then your life is successful. Then and only then. That's why the Varnashram system is given. In the Varnashram systems, those who are inclined Brahmanically, they live the scripture, they speak the scripture, they teach the scripture to others, and their life exemplifies the scriptural injunction. So they are living like that. They carry the direction from the Lord, but they themselves do not directly implement. They will now educate and support the Kshatriyas, who have the ability to control and manage. They put into practice the plan of the Lord as it is handed by the Brahmanas. Then the Vaishyas also support in their own way. Then the Sudras all support. When everyone plays his own part, when the leg plays his part, the stomach plays his part, the hands plays his part, the head plays his part, it becomes a complete unit. Okay? All units are equally important because the legs are equally important, because without the legs, the stomach will be in trouble, the hands will be in trouble, and the head will also be in trouble. So it's complementary. The head must work with the hands, the hand must work with the stomach will work with the legs, and in this way, it becomes a complete unit. That's the Varnashram system. Krishna identifies, he knows the individuality of everybody. Everyone is an individual. Everyone is unique. So you employ your uniqueness or your unique abilities in serving the Lord. So if you are inclined to carpentry work, be a carpenter for God. If you are inclined to electrical work, do your electrical work in the service of the Lord. So devotional service does not mean you negate, you know, and you're doing that does not mean you are lesser than one who is doing the other. They all work complementarily as a complete unit. So actually, individuality is engraved in every one of us, in the deepest core of everyone. Individuality actually is not spiritual. It's not material. Individuality is not material. It is not external. It is internal. It is coming from the soul. The soul is originally individual. You see? So when that individuality is dovetailed to glorifying the Lord or serving the Lord, then it becomes perfect. It brings us to perfection. So in Krishna consciousness, we do not negate, and we cannot negate our individuality. Rather, we engage people in dovetailing their individuality to serving the Lord. How do we dovetail it? We should individually find out how best we can serve Krishna voluntarily. How much can we push? We cannot push other persons too much. Individually, you have to do your own pushing. Other people may help you. Other people may help you push. But it is you who have to take responsibility of your spiritual life. You have to take responsibility. Nobody eats for you. Does anyone eat food for you? No. And you don't expect anyone to urinate for you. Neither you expect somebody else to defecate for you. Therefore, by the same token, you don't expect somebody else to chant your japa for you. Do you expect someone else to do that for you? Therefore, you don't expect somebody to reestablish your relationship with God. You have to do it. You have to take responsibility. So when that is done, then you are on the path. All others, including studying of Bhakti, Sastri, every other thing, is just to inspire you. So devotional service is voluntary. We can inspire others, but we cannot force others. You see? And they say somebody, for instance, this body is a machine, and you are the driver inside the machine, and your machine is faulty. People come to help to push the machine, and you are sitting inside. And when you get to the point you are supposed to click, and you refuse to click it, and you decide to go into sleep while others are pushing your machine, then what are you doing to yourself? Very soon they become tired, they just withdraw, and they look for somebody who is ready to click the machine. This is the endeavor we are all making. We are trying to encourage each and everyone to employ his individuality in devotional service. But how to do it, it is yours. The responsibility is yours individually. Our individuality is not based on the externals. Our individuality is based on internals. Like the software. You are the software within the hardware, the body. Your real individuality is internal. It is not the body. Understand? It's not material individuality, it's spiritual individuality. It is the software we are talking of. Okay? Software is the software we are talking of. Okay? So let us maintain our individuality in devotional service. Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's like we all come to the hospital, we find ourselves in the hospital, and in the hospital, we are expecting, okay, let me know, because time is against us. Last presentation, please.
Okay, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you.
This is Bishmadev group.
Okay.
Yes, the last group. Yeah, and we are reading the last paragraph, which is paragraph 7. And understanding the paragraph, I think it even begins with all power is obtained from the Lord. And therefore, it should be utilized